Time for the markets now with Leighton. You say new crop reports around the corner and people are wondering.
That's right, Artis. This coming Monday, those numbers will be out on the 12th, and we've got some of the early guesses on what they will say. Also ahead in the markets, rice trades on the idea of a much smaller crop. One analyst says the calf market can come back higher, while lumber production is up in the South. Private analysts Informa and Allendale have released their crop surveys ahead of the September 12th monthly government numbers. Informa says it sees U.S. corn at 12.7 billion bushels with an average yield of 151 bushels per acre. Allendale's numbers show a slightly lower outlook for corn. Meanwhile, on the soybean side, Informa pegs U.S. soybeans at just over 3 billion bushels with a yield of 41.5 bushels per acre. Allendale also figures on a 3 billion plus bushel harvest of beans in the U.S. with a yield of over 40 bushels per acre. The latest national crop progress numbers are said to be supportive of the corn market. Some analysts have wondered aloud if we could see $10 corn. Analyst John Roach was asked his opinion of this possibility recently on the Market to Market program.
Well, we don't know. We simply don't know how far people are willing to pay up in order to maintain the business operation that they have that's consuming the corn. And that's really going to be the key. If we go back and look at 2008, when we thought we had the perfect storm of tight old crop supplies, problem with the new crop, very high priced energy, etc., that $8 area was really tough. This summer, we moved up against $8, and when we thought we were tighter than what we turned out to be, again, very tough area, and now we're back up and have pushed up against the $8 area against.
Prospects of a much smaller long grain crop is a main feature of the rice market these days. Extension Ag economist John Michael Riley answered some questions from me about this trade on Thursday morning. John Michael, how much smaller a long grain crop does it look like we'll have this year?
Right now, current projections are down 32%. That's kind of across all classes. That's a common theme, largely due just to overall reduction in acreage, not only in Mississippi but across the nation. Mississippi acres projected to be down about 40%. A slight offset in regard to yield for the most part up about 5 to 6% across the nation and in Mississippi as well. So slightly offset there, but just a general reduction in the total reduction in overall rice production for this year.
Well, as the month of September began, we kind of had a series of contract highs as far as rice, and then some of the air came out of the market.
It has. A lot of this has to do with weather conditions. The Mississippi's crop progress report shows that 66% of the crop for this year is rated good and excellent. That's down quite a bit from last year, down from 80% from a 5-year average. And if you go across the river in Arkansas, where the bulk of the rice is grown, they're sitting at 52% good and excellent. So a lot of these dry weather conditions that took place, that is currently grappling Texas and Oklahoma, has crept over into Arkansas and is having an impact on that crop. And then also the flooding that took place earlier in the year did impact the planted acres and the overall condition of the crop as well. So a lot of this is being priced into the market.
Well, obviously, any lingering question about size of the crop will be answered here as the harvest wraps up in Mississippi and elsewhere. Is the price picture likely to change? Is the market reaction likely to change when those numbers are really known?
Well, it will. If it's anything outside of what we currently expect, it definitely will have a shape that price picture. Right now, we got some rain over this past weekend, which is right in the midst of rice harvest, so there could be some issues that we're having to deal with in that respect. But right now, prices have come up about $4 a hundredweight since the 1st of July, so that's a large price move for the most part. It's been a positive price move, but unless something drastically changes, I think that the price we're seeing right now, given that we're in the midst of harvest, is likely to be the one that continues to roll forward.
One more quick question. Export demand, how has that been for rice?
Off a little bit from 2010, down about 14% from last year, but just over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a weakening of the dollar, which has helped the export market as well.
Well, we go to the dairy for this week's trivia quiz on Farm Week, and here's the question. How many gallons of water does a dairy cow drink per day? 5 gallons, 10 gallons, 20 gallons, or 35 gallons? I'll tell you the answer a bit later in the broadcast. Cow liquidation has been an ongoing feature of the livestock sector. Its potential impact on the calf market has been a concern to some, Analyst John Roach says we've had a lot of cow movement in ranch country, but he notes it's still a relatively small national herd. Roach was asked on the Market to Market program whether the calf sector will stay strong if things do perk up for beef.
Well, the runs were lighter this week. The attitude is maybe we've moved through the numbers that are moved off of pasture because of the dry conditions. Maybe we'll get a little bit of improvement here in weather, so maybe we're stabilizing there. But we're still well above last year's price levels, and so we shouldn't look at this market and talk too much gloom and doom because the numbers, as you say, are tight, and with a little bit of consumer confidence, a little bit of moisture in the pastures, and we can bring this market back higher.
Briefly switching from livestock to forestry now, lumber production in the nation and region is higher now. Woodwire reports this week U.S. production through the month of June was over 8% higher, in fact, compared to the first 6 months of 2010. Lumber production in the South rose 11.1% for the first half of this calendar year compared to the same time period a year ago. And here is the answer to that recently posed trivia quiz question. A dairy cow needs a lot of water to make milk, in the neighborhood of 35 gallons a day. D is the answer this week.